Rafi.
I like your name.
Rafi the artist. Yeah.
And Clay.
And Clay.
Clay.
Rafi and Clay.
Art News.
Hola, you amazing artists, and welcome to the first episode of Art News. This is the first official episode of Art News. This is where we take a look at the mainstream art world and a lot of the happenings in the mainstream art world, which are always both entertaining, educational, and kind of silly. That's actually three things. Clea and I are constantly reading news about like what's going on in the art world and stuff like that. And for the longest time, we've wanted to put together a series where we discuss our opinions about some of the things that are going on in the art world. And so this is it. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. Let us know in the comments below. So let's get into it. This is something that we saw from an article from Taylor Defoe, and it's about an artist, an Italian artist, who auctioned off an invisible sculpture for $18,300, and it is made literally of nothing. So the reason that this came to mind is because with the new NFT craze, people have been criticizing NFTs and digital art for the longest time. Like, is this really art? It's not even real. And you know, what's hilarious is that at this point, apparently you could sell absolutely nothing for $18,000. So yeah.
I think it truly is a sculpture fit for an emperor. For those of you who are unfamiliar, The Emperor's New Clothes is a story by Hans Christian Andersen about a couple of swindlers who approach the emperor and they offer to weave him garments so fine that they're simply imperceivable by those who are incompetent or dumb. And no one, not even the emperor himself, wants to admit that they can't see them. So the emperor goes parading around town in the nude, and actually it's a child who screams out, "He's not wearing any clothes!"
So the artwork is titled Io Sono, which translates to I am. And basically the artist says there that the vacuum is nothing more than a space full of energy, and even if we empty it and there's nothing left, according to the Heisenberg uncertainty principle, that nothing has a weight.
Yeah, and at its current anatomical weight, it's surprisingly economical to ship this particular piece of art. So that's great.
Oh man, shipping is such a pain in the butt. Yeah.
You don't often see that in the art world, so there's that.
And he continues to say, therefore, it has energy that is condensed and transformed into particles, that is, into us. Yeah. This is quite an artist statement there.
I will give him this credit. He is seriously maximizing return on investment as far as material costs are concerned here.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty good.
So for the few of you out there who love to argue and say, I don't want to tell a story, Rafi. I just want to sell my art. How's that working for you? And obviously, there's no art here to sell. He is definitely selling a story. So, you know, go ahead and smack that dislike button. So here's the really interesting thing about this particular story, to me at least, is the Italian auction house ArtRight. Their pre-sale estimate valued the piece between $6,000 to $9,000.
I'm sure they viewed it from several angles. There were multiple appraisers brought in.
Yeah.
So did they all agree on the value of the work, or was there disagreement? Did some like it and some not like it? I wish I could have been in that room.
I know, right? Be a fly in that room. It'll be like that guy from that Picasso movie, like the whatever, where he was like, whenever I look at it, I do this. I just close my eyes and then I'm like...
Yeah.
That's how I know if it's authentic.
I love that guy.
After that estimate, it was bid up to the $18,000. So according to the article, the lucky buyer went home with a certificate of authenticity and a set of instructions. The work, per the artist, must be exhibited in a private house in roughly 5 by 5 foot space, free of obstructions.
So I love that there was a bidding war at the time of auction that actually drove the price up to $18,300. And I guess congratulations to the person who won it. And for those of you who didn't win the sculpture, I would imagine, and I don't want to be presumptuous here, that you could probably commission one pretty easily.
Oh, yeah. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, so that means that all I have to do, really, to sell, to make some really good money is to contact ArtRight and be like, hey, take a look at this piece. This piece is called Esto es aire, which translates into this is air, and it's invisible. I mean, fancy name, check. It's invisible, check. What's my estimate? Let's auction this thing off.
Yeah, so speaking of the vacuum and the condensing of particles that you mentioned earlier, how are you supposed to know when this thing, like, needs a good dusting? Or what if you accidentally knock it over and need to get it repaired? Like, how does that process work?
He goes on to say, when I decide to exhibit an immaterial sculpture in a given space, that space will concentrate a certain amount of density of thought at the precise point, creating a sculpture that, from my title, will only take the most varied forms. Then he goes on to say, after all, don't we shape a god that we've never seen? He added. So, I'm guessing, that's...
Yeah, maybe, but we typically don't then list him on eBay or offer him up on whatever auction site. I mean, man, I've got some crazy stuff going on up here. Maybe I should start listing those things also.
Dude, yes. I'm listing my thoughts on eBay.
This is one of the reasons that we wanted to do episodes like this, is because this kind of news is just rampant in the art world, and it shows the ridiculousness of, like, the auction houses and the mainstream art world. And one of the reasons that they get so much news coverage is because there's always something going on like this. I mean, back when the banana was taped to a wall, we wanted to film something about that because it's amazing. I mean, this guy is brilliant. This is brilliant when it comes to putting yourself out there and just marketing. But I mean, at the same time, I'm like, dude, you're kind of a slacker, right? Because, like, you're an artist. You create art. And you've only created, like, 3 of these invisible pieces. Like, you would have thought that making $18,000 on one, he would have created more than one invisible piece.
Pretty damn lazy, because 3 sculptures, come on, dude.
So,
You need to create more art than that.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
That's doing the least, really.
Yeah, because basically he exhibited the Buddha in contemplation, a square of tape on a cobblestone walkway, and then he installed Aphrodite Cries in front of the New York Stock Exchange. The art world is crazy, y'all.
Oh, yeah, but supposedly that one was actually stolen shortly after its installation.
The one in New York?
Yeah, and they're having a heck of a time tracking it down.
And then he says, you don't see it, but it exists. It is made of air and spirit. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm definitely creating some artwork made out of air and spirit.
So my painting,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because it's invisible, I could hold it like this, even though it is a 48 by 48.
I love your painting, and I think it's a steal. And listen, you guys, if that's not your thing, I'm also offering this new necklace design right here, which is called Realmente No Está Aquí. And I think this is going to become a series. And I'm offering it at the price of $25,000 US dollars.
Wait a second, 25,000?
Yeah.
Mine is only like 17,999.
I know, but the material costs for jewelry are always going to be higher than for painting or sculpture.
Got it.
He goes on to say, it is a work that asks you to activate the power of imagination, a power that anyone has, even those who don't believe they have it. So if you don't see the artwork, you must not have imagination.
So what we're getting here is that if you can't see this sculpture, it's the fault of your own imagination.
Oh, absolutely.
Peasants.
Absolutely. Peasants. Freaking peasants can't even see this sculpture.
So this is online, so one of the most thumbs up comment on that is like, so you really just taped a square and called that a sculpture? Oh, I love the internet.
Okay, let's talk a minute about the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. I am not a quantum physics major. Neither are you.
That statement doesn't make any sense in the context of what he's saying.
He actually, I mean, we are a bit of like physics nerds and enthusiasts here. And from my understanding, dude kind of took like 2 very separate theories. One is the uncertainty principle, and the other one is attempting to discern the weight of the vacuum of space.
Yeah.
But they are 2 entirely different...
He probably just Googled it.
Yeah, and okay, so we've all Googled some stuff to try to explain why we've made a piece of art, right? But you really can't just mash two separate.
Let's mash physics together. And this is my explanation for the painting or for the art or for whatever.
Do what you want, but you're gonna get some eyebrows raised, I think.
Yeah.
Is my point.
Honestly though, I can't hate the guy. This kind of publicity, these kind of stunts, this is actually what artists are really good at doing. The reason for that is because we take a look at the status quo and then we just kind of turn it on its head, and it's always it's always a publicity stunt. You think back to artists that we know of, like Marcel Duchamp with his urinal or fountain, as he called it, and it's basically like making a mockery of the art world. Banksy is great at doing those kind of publicity stunts and things like that. So like, I can't hate the guy. This is freaking brilliant. He sold air, not even air. He just sold a vacuum of space for $18,000 and has people out there arguing back and forth, which is just giving him more publicity for this thing.
One of the interesting things about him, though, is that every photograph that I've found of him on the internet, he's like super serious. I mean, that's kind of like when we did the photo shoot and they got pictures of us, and he was like, "Do not smile. Do not smile." And I was like...
Apparently, people didn't smile for a lot of various reasons back in the day, one of which is that a photograph took a really long time and you didn't want to accidentally come out blurry.
Like...
trying to hold a smile. But also, apparently it was widely believed that, like, smiling imagery was reserved for, like, drunkards and fools and idiots and children. So no one wanted to be portrayed in that way back in the day.
Fantastic. Every picture of me out there smiling, I'm just a drunkard idiot.
I mean, let's be real. Most of the pictures of me out there look like...
Yeah. That's so hot.
Thank you.
So hot.
There's two things that I would take from this, right? So at the end of the day, when you're sitting there criticizing yourself and you're looking at your artwork and you're like, my artwork sucks. Nobody's going to like this. This doesn't have any value. Just remind yourself that some artist out there sold an invisible sculpture for $18,000.
Honestly, I'm going to give dude credit. In a market, invisible art, immaterial art, that's probably rife with knockoffs and forgeries, dude is managing to sell his originals.
I know.
So
you really got to give him props.
Kudos.
Kudos. I mean, it helps if you have a fancy name too. My name is Salvatore. Oh yeah, there's an E. Salvatore.
I don't know if the E is silent.
Yeah, I don't know.
An audibly invisible
It's cool.
E.
It's cooler than Rafi. Rafi.
I like your name.
Rafi the artist. Yeah.
And Clay.
And Clay.
Clay.
Rafi and Clay.
And the second thing I would take from this is what Clee and I usually take from articles like this, right? So it's really easy as soon as you read something like this to just get totally pissed off, to be like, what the heck? I can't sell a painting for $50, something that I poured my heart and soul into, and this guy is selling nothing for like $18,000, and it's really easy to just dismiss it. What I'm saying is, if you stop and you take a little bit of a deeper look and you really take a look at what this actually is and understand that, like, this is a publicity stunt. It doesn't matter how much he sold the piece for. It doesn't matter what he's saying about the work. It doesn't matter. Any of that stuff matters, right? Basically, it's the entire story of that whole thing taking place that really, in actuality, could be considered his artwork. This publicity stunt, this thing that he's putting out there, all in all, the reaction from people buying it to people hating it to people liking the idea, all that stuff, the fact that I'm doing a video about this shows the power of creation of an artist to create some kind of thing out there that people are going to talk about. And really, at the end of the day, that's the best kind of marketing that you could do for yourself, right? And I'm not saying that, like, go out there and, like, try to sell invisible sculptures and stuff like that, because, you know, it's been done, apparently. And I'm sure that he's not the first person that came up with that idea. But I am saying, like, if you put yourself out there in a different way that might be newsworthy. For example, here in town, one of the artists during the COVID times, she contacted a business in front of a giant parking lot. I think it was a Walmart or something. And she asked them if she could set up her booth. And she actually did very, very well and she was thinking outside of the box. So during this time where everybody was like locked up and stuff, she was giving them a taste of something new, something that was missed by a lot of people during 2020. Those kind of things, thinking outside of the box, is really what I take from this type of stuff. Doing things that are just newsworthy if you get the chance, and thinking outside of the box really is what I get from this, right? Obviously this is at a level, an $18,000 level, but you know, any of us could do something like this. This is fun.
Yeah, so honestly, I don't hate this guy or his efforts either. Do your thing, you know? I think that's the takeaway.
Do your thing, man. This is brilliant. I mean, it's brilliant. You could get upset about it. You could be like, oh, this is screwed up or whatever, but it's brilliant. Just, it's fun. It's brilliant. It's ridiculous. I love this kind of stuff.
By the way, you guys, in the spirit of this, I have listed my invisible painting, and I think that my invisible painting is going to do very well. It's at the bargain price of $17,999, and I have it listed on my website, and it's called Esto es Aire, right? And it has to, I mean, his sculpture has to do with the vacuum of space. Mine has to do with the vacuum of spice. So yeah, so if you're interested in finding out more about that, go ahead and go to our website.
Just follow the link in the description below, and you know, it's a good deal.
Yeah, that way you can really see it from all angles and what have you, and all the various options.
Yeah, I have several pictures of it and all that stuff, so that way you could really check it out and take a look for yourself and see how amazing it is.
Yeah, you want to be a discerning buyer if you're going to purchase something like this.
True, very true.
Listen, at the end of the day, when you're looking at stuff like this article and stuff like that, you could have the reaction of like, well, that's screwed up and whatever, and just kind of ignore the whole thing. Or you could take a deeper look. A lot of artists out there don't believe that what Banksy does are publicity stunts and things like that. Because a lot of times when we see these things, we're reading the news articles and we don't realize that, like, yeah, it made the news, but it's because it's a publicity stunt. And a lot of those people, honestly, they wouldn't be watching the video up to this point. Chances are they already, like, just freaking smack that dislike button and that's it. They don't get anything out of this video, because we end up dealing with a lot of stuff like that, where people start seeing something, they find some information they don't like, and they're not willing to go a little bit deeper and dig a little bit further. So thank you all who are here. You guys are the freaking rogue artists out there that go a little bit deeper and look a little bit further into something and are much more capable, because you just don't look at stuff in a dummy kind of way, I guess. I don't know. That's kind of rude. And that's it for art news for today. Let us know what you guys think of this format. And if you like this kind of stuff, we'll do more of this. Like I said, we read a lot of articles, and there are a lot of these interesting conversations that we have within with ourselves. And so, like, we'd be able to share those conversations with you.
Okay, so this is where I'm going to end it. You want to...
Yeah, well, I'm going to send you guys an immaterial good day. Here it is. Did you hear it?
Oh my goodness. That was...
I know it was louder than normal.
Oh.
And listen, if you go and look at my invisible masterpiece, the mock-ups for that are made by Canvy.com, right? That's who I use for all my artist mock-ups. They are awesome. They are awesome people. They have awesome services. They just make the whole process of doing mock-ups easy, which I know is a big pain in the butt for a lot of us. And I also want to give a big shout out to our patrons. Our patrons are freaking amazing, and they thank you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your love. Thank you for being with us during all these different changes and projects that we've been doing. I absolutely freaking adore you. And for anybody else, if this is your first time and you've made it this far, if you like this and you want to watch more like this, just go ahead and click right over here to subscribe. And that's it. I will see you guys later. Adios.